Welcome to Topic 2.3 of the School of Computing curriculum. I am Dr. Ala Jabbar Al-Maliki. The Internet functions through a massive physical layer, glass and copper carrying pulses of light across thousands of miles of physical terrain. In computer science, it is standard practice to view networks as contained systems, a single client sending a request to a local server and receiving a response. At the national scale, these individual networks merge into a single continuous ecosystem of interdependent nodes. When we take that single client-server connection and cascade it across a geographic landscape, we create a countrywide grid where every node is potentially linked. This lecture explores the specific vulnerabilities inherent in this scale of critical national infrastructure. Our core thesis is that civilian and military systems are now structurally linked. Modern cyber warfare purposefully exploits the intersections where these two worlds meet. For computer science students, this means the code you write in a commercial setting can eventually serve as a load-bearing component of national security. A country's survival relies on foundational societal structures, a concept we refer to as national health. This health is supported by 11 distinct pillars. These pillars begin with sustenance and the economy, agriculture, food, banking, and finance. We then add physical and industrial assets, the chemical sector, critical manufacturing, and commercial facilities. The model includes public safety and power generation, emergency services, dams, and the energy sector. Finally, the national security essentials, communications, the defense industrial base, and the Department of Defense. While these sectors are physical, farms, factories, and power plants, their operational logic is digital. Every asset in this model requires a constant internet connection. We formally define these as critical infrastructures. These systems are so vital that their disruption will have a debilitating impact on national security, the economy, or public health. In modern warfare, an adversary can bypass physical defenses entirely. By targeting the digital foundation, they can disable a nation's ability to function. This shift defines the current era of cyber warfare. During conflict, targeting strategies move from the physical battlefield to these digital intersections. From our list of 11 pillars, 3 become the primary targets for adversaries: the Department of Defense, communications, and transportation. Many assume military networks are completely isolated from civilian systems, a secure, air-gapped grid. In practice, military operations are reliant on commercial communications grids for data transmission and civilian logistics networks for moving equipment and personnel. A cyber attack that cuts a commercial communication line can freeze military logistics, delaying critical supplies. This is interconnected systems, the deep structural interweaving of military and commercial technology. These dependencies expand the military's tactical vulnerabilities to include every commercial node it relies upon for its daily operations. This vulnerability is amplified by the Department of Defense's reliance on third-party involvement. The DoD utilizes private contractors for everything from basic staffing to specialized hardware manufacturing. An attacker looking for sensitive data often avoids the fortified military firewall. Instead, they look for a civilian contractor who holds the same information but lacks military-grade security. By compromising the commercial grid, an attacker uses the contractor as a backdoor into the Department of Defense. This specific supply chain infiltration is difficult to detect and can remain active for months before being discovered. These attacks aim to quietly steal sensitive intelligence or actively disrupt military operations during a crisis. This risk, known as contractor vulnerabilities, is an inherent part of modern defense procurement. A nation's defense perimeter is only as secure as the weakest commercial node in the supply chain. Pulling back to a worldwide perspective shows that these vulnerabilities are not specific to one nation. Global relevance is the key takeaway here. While we use the U.S. model as a case study, every modern nation faces these same structural interdependency threats. To manage these risks, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, or DHS, provides a template for protecting these digital ecosystems. For your studies today, focus on this 3-step framework for infrastructure defense. First, the framework requires a continuous assessment of vulnerabilities across both military networks and the commercial sectors they depend on. Second, it mandates the implementation of protective programs, establishing security baselines that private contractors must follow to work with the government. Third, it focuses on enhancing security through the active upgrading of protocols to counter evolving cyber warfare tactics. As UAM computer science students, you're the future architects of these commercial and logistical systems. In this environment, your code, whether it is for a commercial logistics app or a database, acts as a primary structural support for the nation's security perimeter. I am Dr. Al-Maliki. Thank you for your attention.